For years, Marjorie Taylor Greene was one of Donald Trump's closest political allies. A fierce defender, a loyal voice, and a symbol of the MAGA movement's most aggressive edge. She backed him through every controversy, carried his message into Congress, and embraced his brand of politics so intensely that many Republicans viewed her as a future star of the Trump era. But now, that alliance has collapsed into chaos. Trump is calling her a traitor. Greene says his supporters are sending her threats, and the two most controversial figures in modern Republican politics are in an open, public war. What caused this dramatic breakdown? Why did Trump suddenly turn on one of his most loyal defenders? And what does this feud mean for the future of the Republican Party? Welcome to Shadow Report. Hit subscribe so you never miss our deep dive political breakdowns. The fall of a MAGA alliance. The relationship between Donald Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene was once considered unbreakable. Greene championed Trump's policies, defended him through impeachment dramas, echoed his rhetoric, and marketed herself as an unfiltered warrior for his movement. She positioned herself as the loudest MAGA voice in Congress, often going further than many Republicans would dare. But in Washington, alliances are fragile, especially when ambitions grow. Over recent months, Greene began speaking out more independently. She criticized certain decisions by the Trump administration, questioned priorities, and positioned herself as a truth teller even when the truth didn't flatter her political allies. Her comments about Republican leadership being too weak, her criticism of foreign spending, and her embrace of certain issues that Trump wanted to avoid all created quiet friction. Still, no one expected the fallout to explode so publicly until the release of new documents from the Jeffrey Epstein estate. The Epstein Files, the moment everything broke. The House Oversight Committee's release of newly obtained Epstein documents earlier this week triggered a major political storm. These documents included several mentions of Trump, just as they mentioned many other public figures and institutions with past social ties to Epstein. Instead of shielding Trump from scrutiny, Greene pushed in the opposite direction. She joined Democrats in signing a discharge petition demanding the Department of Justice release even more Epstein files. This was a major break from Republican strategy. The GOP had generally tried to steer the conversation toward Democratic figures rather than Trump-Greene, however argued that exposing Epstein's network should be a bipartisan mission. She posted text messages online that she claimed were intended for Trump, advising him to lean into the Epstein file release because it would reveal what she called the deep state's web. For Trump, this was unacceptable. He has repeatedly called the controversy around Epstein a political hoax, insisting that scrutiny should fall on Democrats. Not him. Greene's insistence that he support more transparency directly clashed with the narrative he wanted to push. Trump's public attack, a full break. Trump's breaking point came in a Truth Social post. He called Greene a ranting lunatic. He accused her of constantly calling him. And then, most devastatingly for her political career, he withdrew his endorsement, promising to support a primary challenger against her. For any Republican, losing Trump's endorsement is damaging. For Greene, who built her entire political identity around Trumpism, it was an earthquake. Greene fired back immediately, saying she had received threats from what she described as Trump's radical paid trolls, and that as a woman she took these threats very seriously. She compared her situation to the fear Epstein's victims must have felt, which added even more emotional weight to her claims. This clash revealed a deeper political truth. Greene is not just fighting Trump, she is fighting the MAGA machine that Trump commands inside the tension. Why Trump and Greene were already drifting apart. Though the Epstein files triggered the explosion, the cracks were forming long before that one. Greene's increasing criticism. Greene began calling out weak Republican men and criticizing GOP leadership for sidelining women, an unusual stance in a party that values unity and hierarchy. 2. Disagreement over shutdown strategy. Greene supported certain Democratic efforts to include extended health care subsidies during shutdown negotiations. Trump opposed those efforts and expected Republicans to stay aligned with his stance. 3. Foreign policy clashes. Greene opposed U.S. support for Israel and Ukraine, two positions Trump views as strategically important for maintaining influence abroad. Greene's brand of America First is different from Trump's version. 4. Personal ambition. Political analysts believe Greene is trying to position herself as a standalone populist figure, not just Trump's messenger. She has a strong grassroots following and wants to shape her own political identity. All of these tensions grew silently, until the Epstein files forced them into the spotlight. The political consequences, GOP in turmoil. As the feud intensified, Trump also targeted Representative Thomas Massie, another Republican who supported releasing more Epstein files. Trump mocked him personally and labeled him a Reno. This is a classic Trump strategy. Attack not only the original critic, but also anyone remotely aligned with them. The message to Republicans is clear. If you break from Trump, even slightly, you will be punished. But this time, the backlash is not having its usual effect. Greene still has a powerful base of supporters. She remains one of the most recognizable Republicans in Congress. And her push for transparency on the Epstein documents has significant public support across party lines. As a result, Trump attacking her could alienate some voters who believe the Epstein files should be fully released. Even if it implicates powerful figures in both parties, the fight for control of the MAGA movement. The biggest question now is this: who controls MAGA? For years, the answer was simple: Trump. But Greene has built her own identity within the movement. She represents a more extreme, more uncompromising branch of right-wing populism. Her attacks on GOP leaders, her controversial social media posts, and her open embrace of fringe theories made her a star among voters who distrust traditional politics entirely. Trump tolerated her because she was useful, but now her independence threatens the order he built. This is no longer just a feud. It's a battle for ideological dominance inside the Republican Party. The Epstein documents, what happens next? House Speaker Mike Johnson announced that the House will vote next week on a bill requiring full public release of all Epstein-related DOJ files. If the House passes it, the bill must go through the Senate and then land on Trump's desk. This places Trump in a politically risky position. If he signs it, he risks releasing details he doesn't want public. If he vetoes it, he appears to be blocking transparency. Greene has already implied that Trump is afraid of the Epstein files, a message that could resonate with voters who are deeply distrustful of political elites. This issue could become a defining split inside the GOP. Marjorie Taylor Greene and Donald Trump were once inseparable allies. Today, they are locked in a public feud filled with accusations, insults, and political threats. Is this the beginning of a larger MAGA civil war? Is Greene trying to become the new face of right-wing populism? Will Trump's attacks destroy her career, or will they push her into an even bigger role? Tell us what you think in the comments. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more political breakdowns from Shadow Report.